What happened to hip hop? There used to be a time when a few people could get together on a stage and make it happen. Run DMC, Big Daddy Kane, Kumo D, Curtis Blow, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and the Fresh Prince. Well, he went from being on stage rapping
You should have seen the people dancing and shaking and moving and jumping and spinning and clapping while the beatbox was grooving and screaming and yelling on the microphone. I was flowing, fresh rhymes I was showing.
to going on stage slapping. In today's hip hop, we talk about crash outs, relationships, and prison time. Does anyone remember when Tupac was sentenced to prison? It was 1995. He was sentenced to 18 months to 4.5 years in prison. Most people thought that was a long time. Well, that's old hip hop. It's totally different in today's hip hop. We start with Tekashi 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine, also known as Daniel Hernandez, was or still is a rapper. In 2015, he pleaded guilty to a felony count of, well, let's just say, some inappropriate behavior with a child. He got 4 years probation and 1,000 hours of community service. But that wasn't enough for Hernandez. In 2018, he faced the ultimate, a RICO charge, which included racketeering, weapon possession, and conspiracy to commit murder. Hernandez faced a possible 47 years in prison, but instead, he flipped and turned state's evidence, agreeing to testify against his co-defendants. As a result, he was sentenced to 2 years. YNW Melly. YNW Melly, whose real name is Jamel Maurice Demons, was accused of murdering his two friends, Anthony Dondre Williams, also known as YNW Sack Chaser, and Christopher Jermaine Thomas Jr., also known as YNW Juvie, in October 2018. According to reports, in October 2018, Demons Williams Thomas Jr. and Cortland Malik Henry, also known as YNW Borland, were together at a recording studio. The four rappers were to appear in a music video by another local rapper the following afternoon. According to Henry, in the police report, Williams and Thomas were shot during a drive-by. Henry drove Williams and Thomas to the hospital where they would die of their injuries. Upon investigation, Florida police found evidence linking both DeMons and Henry to the crime. DeMons was arrested on February 13, 2019. The first trial ended with a hung jury. The second double murder trial is scheduled to begin on September 10, 2025. If DeMons is convicted, he may be one of the first defendants to be sentenced under Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' new non-unanimous death sentence law. Yellow Beezy. Beezy is also known as Marquise DeAndre Conway. On March 20, 2025, Conway was arrested by Dallas County, Texas sheriffs in connection with felony capital murder for hire charges of rapper Mo3 in the state of Texas versus Conway Marquise. Mo3 was an American rapper and singer from Dallas, Texas. He was best known for his 2020 single Broken Love, remixed featuring Kevin Gates, which received double platinum certification by the Recording Industry Association of America. His collaborative album with Boozy Badass moderately entered the U.S. Billboard 200. Noble was shot and killed on November 11, 2020 at the age of 28. According to reports, a vehicle containing Kawan Dontrell White pursued Noble on Interstate 35 in Dallas. White would pursue Noble on foot, but Noble would never return. According to court documents, Conway allegedly promised to pay or provide some compensation to Kawan White for that murder. A Dallas County grand jury would formally indict Conway on a murder charge which alleged that he hired a hitman to murder Mo3, Lil Durk. On October 24, 2024, United States Marshals arrested Lil Durk, aka Dirk Derrick Banks, for the murder for hire in connection with the August 2022 shooting of Quando Rondo and the death of his cousin Lil Pob Robinson. Dirk faces life in prison if convicted. Lil Durk has pleaded not guilty and is presumed so until proven otherwise. Then there's the video heard around the world. Diddy, who has too many other names, but also is known as Sean Combs. Combs allegedly brutally assaulted and battered his partner, Cassie, while staying in a hotel. The video was published for the world to see. A few days later, Combs appeared on Instagram saying he was sorry for his actions. Shortly thereafter, both of his homes, one in California and another in Florida, were raided by national security. It was reported that during the raid, the national security seized 1,000 bottles of baby oil. On September 16, 2024, Combs was arrested and indicted on charges of racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation for purposes of prostitution. He faces potential sentences of up to life for racketeering and a minimum of 15 years for sex trafficking. Combs has pleaded not guilty and is presumed innocent until proven otherwise. Can anyone remember when Lisa Left Eye Lopez set Andre Rison's house on fire?
Atlanta Falcons football player Andre Rison. Atlanta police have issued an arson warrant for Rison's girlfriend, singer Lisa Lopez of the rap group TLC. Police refuse to give any details, but say the fire began early Thursday after an altercation at the house.
We never saw anything like that before. Now we see constant crash outs, despicable behavior, constant relationship problems, and all of this is now representing hip hop. Regardless of what anyone wants to say, yes, this now represents hip hop. But in the end, we forgot to talk about the music. No one would be looking at the crash outs, relationships, lawsuits, and all of the other foolishness if it wasn't for the music. The music is what brought us here. It's the thing that gave us all of the musicians, the hip hop artists, the fashion, the cars, the homes, the money. It gave us the critics, some good and some bad. It gave us the YouTubers, the commentators, the reaction videos, and so much more. And most recently, it gave us the Kendrick versus Drake battle. That battle was one of the best that hip hop has seen in a long time. But were we listening to the music? Not just the attacks, not just the name calling, not just the double, triple, and quadruple entendres, but the phrasing, music samples, inflections of Kendrick's voice, the lows and the highs of Drake. All of these things played into something called the music. The music, that's what's hip hop. It's the music. A rapper named Mick Jenkins had this to say about the current state of how it appears in hip hop and commentary.
The most popular podcast for hip hop media, while I have my opinions on each of them, I feel that none of them really get into the music and the process and the producers and the process and then at all, really.
In my opinion, Mick Jenkins is right. But what do you think? Let me hear from you in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit the notification button so you can know when new videos drop. I'm the Bar Master, Chris. What it is, what it do.